welcome back in. Just another football show.
Dun, 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 dun.
I don't know if this is the...
We can't do that.
That's not...
There's a certain amount of bumps you can get through before you're officially
we're over the bump limit. But
well, I've been waiting all week for talking this game.
It's not true, though, even, because there's multiple games. But this is
Saturday night.
This is going to be a good one.
Titans-Ravens.
Everyone says blowout.
Saturday.
Everyone says this. No. I'm taking the Titans to cover.
Hang on.
The Titans.
It's
The
not
cover,
your turn.
the cover.
It's not your turn.
I said cover.
It's not your turn to pick yet, though. We'll do that on Friday.
I said cover.
It's not a big big prediction.
I said cover. That just means it's going to be closer than Vegas.
We're going to talk about it more on Friday. But
I have thoughts about this game, but I will save those till Friday like a true professional should, Ryan.
All I said is cover 9 points. That's it.
We're talking to Shane. He's our Titans fan. We talked to him last week. He is on cloud 9, I imagine, after that big win against the Patriots.
He's tightening up.
And then who else could we go to? We had to give Steve a call. He's our Ravens fan.
Our Ravens fan that came to the Bills tailgate.
He did too.
Been helping us all year, leaving the voicemails. Yeah.
Shouts to Steve. Good guy. He will be back. He'll be on later to talk a little bit of Ravens. They're going to give you the picks. They're going to give you scores. Doing it all. So
and we're keeping track this time.
Yeah, I've got them all written down. I didn't do it last week. It was a hard fail out of me.
I was to it.
Doing some things. So
yeah, you're busy over there.
I'm trying to keep it all straight.
Behind multiple computers.
This is the problem.
Operating everything.
What do you guys say? We just get right to it. We throw Shane on the line.
Yeah, let's talk to some guys.
Jump in, feet first.
Let's call Shane. All right, so now we're going to welcome on Shane. Shane, were you like a friend of mine that's a Titans fan that was out maybe watching this game at a bar? You probably don't have a battle with CBS and your cable company currently, but I had a buddy of mine that was a Titans fan that's at bars and just people buying him drinks left and right after the Titans won this game. Just happy to see the Patriots eliminated. How are you feeling after that big win?
Man, being in the playoffs after going 2-4, it kind of felt like playing with house money, just being there and hoping to get an opportunity. And being able to go into Foxborough, it's been said all week, that game's going to be one that's going to be talked about forever. And just being a Titans fan, it's kind of nice being part of that side of history with the Patriots.
I said it immediately following the game that Bill got out Belichicked in that game. Watching him literally lose his mind on the sidelines when the Titans are taking advantage of the loophole that he just smirked about using earlier in the season as far as letting the clock run down, taking the delay game penalty, letting the clock run down, taking the timeout, that kind of stuff. And then the way it ended on what might be the lasting image of Brady in a Patriots uniform is the pick six. How fired up were you at the end of that?
Well, it's funny. We talked last week, and I talked about Vrabel using that very maneuver against the Texans. And then the very next week, we talked about it, how he may have learned that from Belichick. And then the very next week, in the same type of opportunity, he has the opportunity to go in and use it against Belichick and just get Belichick all kinds of fired up on the sideline because he knows there's nothing he could do to stop it. It was like slow poison. And then the pick six by Logan Ryan was redemption from earlier in that game because if there was anybody in America that saw him drop that pick six and didn't die a little inside, I'd love to know, except for out of Massachusetts.
Most of them live in Boston.
Yeah, but I think all the rest of us let out this collective groan. And so, yeah, and then seeing him have the opportunity to come up with it at Foxborough for the team he used to play for and possibly be the reason that Tom Brady is no longer playing there, it was magnifique.
Yeah, it was great. And the last two interceptions, I guess, that Brady threw, he threw one in this game that went for pick six, and then the one he threw against the Dolphins that was returned was both former Patriots. Eric Rowe, former Patriot. So interesting little tidbit there. People maybe hip to what he's doing and kind of seeing. I did notice that during the game there were play-action plays where Mike Vrabel knew right away, or the defense knew right away before the ball was even faked to the running back that it was going to be a passing play. So definitely some gamesmanship in there. Definitely Vrabel and Dean Pease knowing what this Patriots team is going to do before they did it. Definitely being able to kind of, like Jam said, out Belichick Bill Belichick. So it was overall just kind of a fun game to watch because you kind of felt like the entire world was watching and rooting against the Patriots or rooting for the Titans. So it was just fun to even watch at my buddy's house eating pizza and not to even think about being there, being at a bar, being wherever. So awesome game by the Titans. It wasn't it wasn't a fireworks by any means. Ryan Tannehill had 72 yards, completed slightly over half of his passes, but Derrick Henry, as he's done for the last 6 weeks, 8 weeks, whatever, just running over people, 182 yards on the ground, 1 touchdown. So how do you feel about the Derrick Henry show?
Well, I feel like as long as he's walking, we got a chance right now. With the way our offensive line has kind of put it together late in the season, last year you kind of got to see how it turned into Derrick Henry's December, and this year we've kind of repeated it, and now we've had the opportunity to keep that momentum going into the playoffs. And it's, you talked about Ryan Tannehill. It's going to be a matter of time before Derrick Henry's production leads to Ryan Tannehill having a breakout performance in these playoffs. There's going to be an opportunity. There's going to be a moment where the Ravens they're going to load up. They're going to try to stop Henry, and it's going to lead for Ryan Tannehill to have an opportunity to have a big day. It's nice having a guy, football comes down to Jimmys and Joes, and I think we've got the Jimmy and Joe in the NFL playoffs right now. I don't think there's another person in the playoffs right now that you have to be scared of more than a guy that was breaking off 10-yard a carry run the other night.
Yeah, he's looked great. A guy that almost initiates contact when running with the football. Are you at all concerned with the fact that that pick six aside, the Patriots defense kept Tennessee in check for the majority of almost all of that football game. It was a even after the pick six, it was a 1 possession score, 8 points. Baltimore has a much better offense. It's going to be a lot harder to slow them down. Do you think Tennessee will be able to keep up if this sort of turns into a shootout?
Well, Baltimore is looking at a 19th ranked run defense from the last time I've seen that's statistical, but it won't. I don't even know if it'll be so much the ability to keep up scoring wise, because the Titans have had the opportunity over the last month to show that they can score points on people. I think it's more of an ability to control the clock while we have the ball, because I think that the Ravens are going to use Lamar Jackson to do the same. They're going to use Lamar Jackson and Mark Ingram to try to control the clock and try to, manipulate the time and field position a little bit there. And I think if we have the opportunity to do the same, it can shorten that game down to keep them from being as explosive as they've been in the past.
Yeah, I think that absolutely has to be the game plan on sort of keeping that offense off the field. We've seen how explosive they can be, and the plan is to keep the league MVP off the field. That's what you need to do.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely dynamic. I mean, you can't give that guy enough opportunities to be on the field and score if you want an opportunity to win a football game. I mean, it's Manning. If he was on the field as a Titans fan, you didn't feel good. So the more you had the ball, the less he could affect the game.
Yeah, and Lamar Jackson is absolutely incredible when he has the ball. But what he does is he opens up other guys to get the ball as well. Like, his even posturing makes it frees up Mark Ingram to get rile off big chunks as well. Baltimore is the number 1 rushing team in the league, but Tennessee is the number 3 rushing team in the league. It just so happens that the difference is something like 70 yards per game, which is insane to see from 1 to 3. But I think that Mike Vrabel has had a good job of running the defense, keeping guys in check. Dean Pease doing a good job there too. Dean Pease, I believe, former Raven, so kind of maybe, I don't know, maybe has an inside track or something. We're thinking possibly, but overall, the Baltimore team is very, very scary. But there's not a team hotter in the league right now than the Tennessee Titans, especially considering they just knocked off what was like early season, Super Bowl favorites, basically a team that started the season 8-0. So Tennessee has the momentum, right? Ravens have this week off. They didn't start
Basically
their
2 weeks
starters.
off.
Yeah, they didn't start their starter or most of their starters week 17. Some guys maybe a little bit banged up. Mark Andrews, Mark Ingram, the Marks. I don't think this is kind of the blowout that Vegas is predicting. What was the opening spread? It was like 9.5 or something. That's just disrespectful. So Shane, how do you feel about I guess just overall this matchup between Tennessee and Baltimore?
Well, I think that what you guys kind of said there is the advantage we have going in, that their starters have sat for 2 whole weeks. And not that creates rust. A lot of times you feel like that would help, your guys get healthy and get back to game speed. There is something about playing week to week and not getting out of that rhythm. And Baltimore has not done a great job in the 2 losses that they had this year. Once the team kind of got up on them just a little bit, those were the 2 losses they had. They're not built to control games if they've gotten behind. So the opportunity lies there for the Titans to strike quick early and kind of make that game get out of the control of what the Ravens like to do to people. Like you said, they're a great rushing team. They like to control that aspect of the game where if they can get up on top of you and they start running the ball, you have to do a whole lot more defensively to stop it. And that opens Lamar Jackson up to both being a great drop back passer and his ability to break, contain, and make amazing plays.
Yeah, at Tennessee, not necessarily on the field, but they have a great kind of underdog mentality right now. There's some hype video that the Patriots put out where, talking about being or the Titans were hyenas and the Patriots were lions, I think, which is weird because there's a team in the league called the Lions, but whatever. And the Titans just ate it up. They said, yeah, if they want the hyenas, we'll be the hyenas. That's not exactly what he said, but
I mean, did anyone else see the video of the Titans team standing in the tunnel and the fans just berating them, telling them they didn't belong there? And then this team to come out and do this. It is so sweet to see.
If there really is a team with that underdog mentality, it has to be the Titans.
It's this team.
And if they want to keep that going, if they want to show that they belong, they have to knock off the proverbial Goliath, right? This is Baltimore. This is 14-2 team, best team in the league, MVP, all this and that. And Tennessee, if they want to show that they are that team, which they really desperately want to be, they have to take out this Baltimore team. So, and I think it's really going to be a good game. Obviously, it's the playoffs; they're all good games, right? But I really think this is going to be a good one because it's red hot, right? The Titans red hot versus top team. So I just want to watch it. So
yeah, well, I mean, we're holding our predictions out until Friday, but Shane, you know the drill. We're gonna make you give us your thoughts here. Give us pick a winner. Give us a score. What do you think? Where do you think this is going to finish up at?
I think that the Ravens are viewing the Titans as a stepping stone. I don't believe that they're viewing us as a legitimate contender to beat them, as has been said over the last couple of weeks with comments made about playing the Steelers not being the Titans. And then this week with Earl Thomas saying that if Ryan Tannehill throws at them, it's going to be a bad day. I think they're writing us off before they even get off the bus. So I think that we go into Baltimore with the same mentality we just went into Foxborough, and we avenge them beating us when we were the 1 seed and they were the 6 seed. Ooh. We take it back from them. I think that we control that game. I think it ends up being somewhere in the 21-10 range for the Titans because I think that they'll have a plan to stop Lamar Jackson.
There is a little, very, very little part of me that hopes that you're correct. But I don't know.
I mean, I love Lamar as the next guy, as much as the next guy, but I am always rooting for the underdog, no matter what.
Yeah, I'm an underdog guy. Just that would build up for an AFC Championship game at Arrowhead that I could go to. So that'd be fun. Potentially, we'll get to that game later. So, all right, man. If your prediction is correct, and that's a bold one, we'll talk to you next week.
I appreciate it.
All right, man. Thanks for the time.
Thanks, guys. Tighten up.
All right, so now we have to do it. He was the first one when I posted that we were looking for people to talk. His name was already penciled in. Little did he know, or he probably did. We're gonna welcome on Steve. He is our Ravens fan. We all know and love Steve from the voicemail line. Steve, your team hasn't played in a few weeks. How's it going?
Hey, not too bad, guys. Not going too bad. I know they haven't played in a couple. couple weeks, so that's all right. That's a benefit of kicking ass during the regular season.
It is in theory a benefit.
Sure.
That's true.
Yeah.
Statistically, it helps.
Yeah.
That's true. I mean,
Stats are all out there.
One person who it definitely helped, but words coming out today that maybe not as much as we would thought is Mark Ingram, as reports were surfacing earlier today that he's still dealing with that nagging calf injury, not yet 100%. Didn't seem full doom and gloom as far as being listed as inactive for Sunday.
it's just precautionary
But
at this point.
what's your feeling?
But, yeah, how
there?
do you feel?
Hey, well, guys, here's what I'm thinking on the deal. Calf strain. Usually, they what I'm reading on it is that they usually project about 6 weeks to get over the damn thing, which obviously 3 weeks isn't quite enough. However, he says he's still feeling good. They just want to precautionary, keep him out of practice, just let it heal and fully recover as much as he can. Honestly, I'm going to be cool with it if he doesn't play against the Titans. And I mean, I hate saying it because he's our little energy burst out there on the sideline. But I mean, Gus Edwards showed plenty of muscle here back when we played Pittsburgh for 20 plus carries for $130. I got plenty of faith in Gus. I mean, he carried us through the end of the season last season. I mean, guys, we got a good guy about ready to run over people coming up on Saturday.
Yeah, and add in Justice Hill, too, a little bit. And you got still a very good running team. Lamar can run the ball enough where you don't even need Mark Ingram sometimes. So I'm not terribly worried. Ultimately, I think that Mark Ingram will play, and he does absolutely add a different dynamic to the team when he's in. But like you said, even if he's not in, I think that they'll be okay with Gus. Tennessee does have a top third, top 12 defense, basically. Roughly the top third of the league. They allow over 100 yards per game, and Baltimore rushes for twice that a game. They rush for 208 a game. So should be an interesting one there, even if without Mark Ingram. You're not worried about any rust or anything for Lamar because he has been stellar all year. I know sitting out the fourth quarter in a couple times, but sitting out a couple weeks is an awful long time.
What I got to say about that is, number one, when you watch his press conference, I mean, the guy just seems completely confident that he didn't have any rust. He's ready to go. I mean, he was fighting the flu bug, I think, last week, but he says he's ready to go. He's ready to avenge last year's first round playoff loss. That's for sure.
Yeah, he's 23-year-old kid. He doesn't get the rust like I was going to call myself an old guy, but I don't really get rust because I don't do anything in the first place. But yeah, he's 23. He's probably pissed that he didn't get to play and go out there and do some of that stuff, add to his totals for the
he
year.
wanted out there.
Yeah, because he has been that spark plug all year where he wants to, Jam's pointed out a couple times, almost making it a negative where he's so into every single play, beats himself up for every single mistake, which there have only been a few all year.
Yeah, and it's more so not necessarily beating him up for mistakes, but like runs or scrambles or plays that turn into 5 or 6 yard gains that he feels like should have been more. He seems a little too overcritical on himself.
I understand that, but at the same time, you got to love his fire. You got to love the way he attacks the game. I mean, he wants as many yards on every play as possible, and I mean to have that kind of mentality out of your quarterback, I don't see it as a bad thing. And you guys have brought up a couple times that maybe here in the future, you could see that maybe getting in his head a little bit.
Hey.
Not me.
I have to hold on. I have to stop you. Jam is the only one that has said that. I don't want that you guys bullshit on this. I can't.
Hey, you know what? You guys are all guilty by association.
No.
I'm
not living by his sins. It's not happening.
Hey, no problem. I totally understand. But guys, I'm telling you, I love that fire out of him. And honestly, if he gets in it, if he's ready to roll, man, I tell you what, he drops that just like he should. He's ready to make a play on every single drive. And I can't be mad at him for being pissed off that he only gets 5 yards. That just shows his determination.
I love his fire. I do love him going to Harbaugh when it's like 4th and 1. No, we're not punting. Keep them off the field. We're going for it. We saw earlier in the season, John Harbaugh's kind of gone by this live or die as far as the analytics approach to the game goes. We saw it kind of work against them against the Kansas City Chiefs. Do you see that being a factor in the postseason as a situation where maybe a field goal or is better than going for it on 4th and short, or 1 point's a lot better than no points as far as a point after touchdown is concerned?
Well, how I see that is, honestly, as long as we're not – if we score, I want that extra point. I want points. In the playoffs, I want points. I want the for sure points. I don't want to be going for two. Kansas City, I mean, I totally understand that had he gotten those 2 points, we were the first ones to score in that game. We need to put 7. They're already chasing. I don't want no 2-point conversions. As for 4th downs, baby, we've been rolling this year on 4th downs. Keep it coming. I don't care. 4th and 8. If Lamar's got a good feeling, the whole team, the whole offense has a good feeling. Let them make the decisions out there. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, and there's not a team in the league I trust more than this Ravens team to get a 4th down or a 2-point conversion for the most part with Lamar and everything like that.
That's fine. With the 2-point conversion, I'll give you that. I do like my Chiefs' chances just as much as Lamar's.
It's worked out so frequently this year where they were able to get 4th and 2, 4th and 3, all the way like 4th and 9. They're not really too scared of that. And I like that Harbaugh's been leaning on the analytics, knowing when to go for it, trusting his guys, and that kind of builds into not only success on the field but success off the field, where the guys are buying into the team. They appreciate the faith that Harbaugh has into them, and you kind of see the swagger and stuff that this team has off the field. Big trust with Mark Ingram and all the guys just kind of being involved in what seems like a fun team that trusts and loves each other, which I think is absolutely necessary to go all the way.
Yeah, absolutely. So we
huge. Our chemistry is totally kicking it right at the right time, dude, for sure.
Absolutely. So we got to sort of transition. We got to talk about this game coming up this week. We're doing a lot of focusing on the past, and we're killing time. We got to move forward. You got the Titans coming to town. I don't know how many people saw this one coming. I think after that Texans game, you were sort of prepping for the Texans to come in, and it didn't happen that way.
I picked that one.
You did pick that one. That's fine. I bet it, so it's cool. But
same here.
How do you feel? This Titans team is, as we just talked to our Titans fan. This team is red hot. They're going on all cylinders, especially with the running game.
They're riding their underdog
this
mentality.
game, I was kind of surprised. I had to double check it and look it up myself. Expected temperature of like 65 degrees in Baltimore on Saturday. So we're gonna have just a game here. No weather involved. I think both teams are gonna be able to just do it. So
I'm saying apparently it's snowing today.
I've got the 10-day right in front of me here. High on Saturday of 65.
Yeah, that ocean breeze.
They're rolling. Little AM showers, but you guys should be good to go by the time the ball kicks off, and it should be a really fun game to watch, I think.
Definitely, guys. As for the Titans, I mean, I don't think there's a lot of quarterbacks that have played the second half of the season as well as Ryan Tannehill has. I mean, honestly, he's about as efficient as it gets when it comes for them scoring. I can't remember the numbers, but I think they're in the second half of the season. They're like, the fourth highest scoring team in the league, and I mean, they're putting points on the board. Their defense is playing stout. Derrick Henry, obviously, he is a moose. I mean, to bring him down, you can't just bring him down one guy, and that's the one thing that scares me out of that Titans team is Derrick Henry, because of the fact that when I look back at last year and who we had at linebacker, if we had C.J. Mosley, if we had him this year, I wouldn't be so worried about Derrick Henry. But this year we have a little bit smaller linebackers and a little less experience in stopping the run. However, we got the defensive line to battle all their big uglies, and if Derrick Henry can get past that first wave of defenders, that's the biggest thing for the Titans. However, if they're going to be running that ball, he put up 182 yards rushing this last weekend. They scored 14 points on that, and I'm not including that pick six. They scored 14 points on that. Okay, if he's going to put out a performance like that and they're only going to put up 14 points, that's a Baltimore win. I don't care how you write it up. They got to make big plays, and if they don't make big plays, we're going to win that game. And if we don't turn that damn ball over, that is the biggest thing. If we don't turn that ball over, I see Baltimore winning this game handily.
Yeah, Baltimore is a great team turnover-wise. They're plus 10 on the season, 6th in the league, taking the ball away, limiting their own turnovers. We've seen it a couple of times with Lamar, not many, nothing even worth saying is a problem, but we've seen it happen just I think a couple, like 2 or 3 times maybe. So I don't know. Like the Titans are red hot. They're coming in. They have this, giant killer mentality, or Goliath Slayer, or something like that. They're leaning they're leaning into it. And Baltimore is the proverbial giant that has to be slayed. They're the best team in the league. They're number 1 seed, MVP, everything like that. So if Baltimore gets complacent in this game, I think Tennessee could take advantage of that, which is why I think this is going to be a little closer game. It's projected at 9. I think the spread right now is 9. I don't think it gets there, but I don't know. I'm very curious to see how this game's going, because Tennessee, like you said, they didn't score a ton of points, right? 14 points on offense, 6 points on defense.
I think that's what's going to.
But they scored more points than the other team, right? They limit the point.
That's how you win.
They scored exactly the amount of points they needed, more than the other guys. So I don't know. I think it's a very interesting one.
I mean, I definitely see where you're coming from, but I mean, I'm sorry. I just don't see them putting up. I don't see them putting up 21 plus. And if you're not going to score 30, Tennessee's 22nd ranked overall defense does not scare me, and I don't think it should scare Baltimore at all either.
Yeah, we'll be talking about it on Friday, but I'm more leaning your direction here. Like I said, I told our Titans fan there's a little part of me that wouldn't mind seeing a Titans win here, so that there's a potential AFC Championship game in Arrowhead. But man,
yeah, of course.
I just think it's probably
you want to wish that upon yourself, huh?
I kind of do, but we talked about this. I'm shooting for the revenge tour now. And we already beat the Ravens. I don't need them in the revenge tour.
Baltimore is that.
Hey, what about our revenge tour, damn it? What about our revenge tour? Because I want to see your asses in the AFC Championship game, damn it.
Yeah,
everyone
last
wants to
I
see
checked,
that
the
AFC
Browns weren't
Championship
in the
game.
playoffs.
It's true. Neither of the Colts, though, so the Chiefs
we
can't
already
get that one.
revenged them, damn it.
That's true. They got that one. So, all right, Steve, we got you know how this works. We got to you got to tell us how you think this game's going to shake out. You seem
Pretty
like you think it's going to be more on the confident scale for you. How do you see it shaking out? What do you got for a score?
Well, for a score, I'm going to have to say, I think the first half starts out just a little bit slow, just so we can feel out, see what their game plan is going to be. But I think we open up a few more wrinkles that nobody's seen this year, and I honestly think we come out firing, and I think ending the score probably 34-17 is what I'm feeling.
All right. Yeah. I'll tell you that our Titans score prediction was pretty bold, and you'll have to go back and listen to it.
I will do so.
I'm sure you will. All right, man. If things go your way, we'll be talking to you next week.
Hey, sounds good, guys. Look forward to talking to you.
Hey, thanks for the time, man.
Hey, later, guys.
And there you have it. Titans-Ravens.
That's gonna be. It's
Still not sure. I'm glad that we have some time before we have to pick. We have to pick these games.
Yeah.
Speaking of, we'll be making our picks on Friday. So make sure you guys are subscribed. You're downloading the podcast. It's easy to find anywhere you find a podcast. I got an email from our host, yeah, with like random statistics. Like, here's where people get your podcast from most places. Like, here's the top 3 places they get it from, and it was interesting. But wherever you get them from, the thing that is very clear by that is there are lots of places to get podcasts.
Yes.
We're out there everywhere. Spotify, we're on
everywhere you want it.
iTunes,
Any way you want it.
Podcast Addict. If you guys are on
That's the way
Android,
you get us.
Podcast Addict is where it's at. I have
Any
recently
way you
fallen
want
in
it.
love with the Podcast Addict app. So get yourself that if you're looking for a way to keep track of it. And then every time you refresh it, if there's new podcasts,
It's automatic there.
it's just there. It's very nice because we've had some weird goings on for publishing schedules.
Sometimes we have some weird weeks.
We're trying to get back to normal. So here's the thing, guys. Make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you guys are checking out these videos. We're doing all 4 games for this weekend. We'll be doing the 2 games next weekend. Then we're doing the Super Bowl.
Yep.
Doing everything.
Dun, dun, dun,
Not the
dun.
Pro Bowl.
Not the Pro Bowl. You're right. Not everything.
Yeah.
We're not degenerates.
We will be busy watching
might bet.
NHL All-Star Weekend and the Royal
Problem
Rumble.
is, I'm going to have money
so-
in my account. And I'm going to bet the Pro Bowl. I can just see it already.
You're so terrible.
It is problematic.
Help
So
us save you from you.
make sure you guys are out there sharing it, letting all your friends know that you enjoy what we're doing. We appreciate it. It's the best. It's really, like, it's free. Share it around. Let people know. That's all we really are asking.
And some grade A insights.
I mean, there are some T-shirts if you want to spend a little cash.
Yeah.
You can go get those. But
Steve, get you a T-shirt, buddy.
out there on the Facebook page, out there on the Twitter feed, they're pinned everywhere.
Yep.
Take a look. So until
They're
the next video
50-50
or until
cotton
Friday,
blend. They're comfy.
depends on what you've listened to at this point. But we will definitely be back on Friday giving you our predictions. We'll be going over all the coaching hires.
Buddy.
This has been Just Another Football Show.
Bye.
See ya.
That's one.